Welcome to the first installment of Mayo Movie Club, where I recommend 3 or 4 movies to my viewers. I don't like to spoil things, so it's hard to do a video about a single movie that I want to talk about. By putting a few of them together, I can turn this into a series that gives the general idea of a movie's story with a few observations about what I like so much about each one. I know there's a good amount of young people watching my videos, and this is my opportunity to raise awareness of some classics that I think everyone should see. Anything I recommend here is done for a reason. Maybe it's because I know everyone will like it. Maybe it's for something specific, like how well directed the action is, or the actors' performances, or maybe a movie isn't especially great, but it was very influential. We're starting things off with a bang. Die Hard, 1988, directed by John McTiernan. He put out this masterpiece just a year after his other masterpiece, Predator. Yeah, that's right, the same guy directed both of those movies. And if you know those 2 movies already, it makes a lot of sense because they're masterfully made. This is the movie that made Bruce Willis into an action superstar, portraying the iconic policeman hero John McClane. Bruce Willis has been famous for so long that it's hard to think of him as anything but an action star. But that wasn't the case before Die Hard. At the time of Die Hard's release, he was known to the public mostly for his role on the hit 80s series Moonlighting. Seeing him as the star of an action blockbuster from the director of Predator could come across as comical. Some of you may remember when it was announced that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker in The Dark Knight. Heath Ledger, the guy from 10 Things I Hate About You and Brokeback Mountain? Is this a joke? And then the movie comes out and he leaves everyone eating crow because it doesn't matter what an actor's past is. A good actor is a good actor or actress. Put that person in the hands of a talented director with a great script and anything is possible. I'm willing to bet a lot of younger audiences haven't seen Die Hard, or maybe they've seen part 4 or 5. You have to see the first one, where it all began, before things got too ridiculous. The movie is still ridiculous at times, it straddles the line between believable action and the exaggerated, but the film mostly remains grounded. The plot centers around a group of trained criminals that take over a building on Christmas Eve in an attempt to break into the vault on the upper levels. There's a company Christmas party happening, which is attended by John McClane's wife Holly. John and Holly are currently separated, which John wants to resolve, though his communication skills aren't helping things much. When the bad guys come in, John is able to escape and spends the movie screwing with their plans, killing them one by one, while trying to establish communication with the outside to get the police to come. The movie is a roller coaster ride, but it's not just action. There's a real heart to the movie. It's filled with charismatic characters and stellar performances. Do you recognize this guy? That's Alan Rickman. Rest in peace. You may know him better as Snape from the Harry Potter films. Here he plays Hans Gruber, the leader of the bad guys, and he kinda steals the movie. Definitely one of his most iconic roles. So yeah, go watch Die Hard now. Next movie on the list is Reservoir Dogs, the debut film from Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino is most famous for Pulp Fiction and Kill Bill, and that's not to diminish the achievements of the rest of his filmography. Reservoir Dogs is where it all started. This is a movie for people who love acting, dialogue, and cinematography. It centers around a diamond heist, but the interesting thing is that the diamond heist is the only thing you don't see. The movie is about how a team of specialists is put together, how they get to know each other, and what happens after the heist when everything goes to hell. It's stacked with actors that have big personalities: Michael Madsen, Harvey Keitel, Steve Buscemi, Tim Roth. Even Tarantino himself has a role. In this group of hardened murdering thieves is an undercover cop, and now that their plan has fallen apart, they have to figure out who the rat is. The movie descends into madness as no one can trust anyone because they don't know each other. My favorite thing about the movie is that the majority of it takes place in one building. It's this empty warehouse with nothing spectacular about it. It's just a few plain-looking rooms. Since we spend so much time here, Tarantino comes up with many creative ways to film this space. He doesn't repeat camera angles. He finds so many ways to make this location feel fresh so you don't get bored. It's an astonishingly strong debut from a director who would go on to inspire so many other filmmakers in the following generation. Next is a movie that everyone should have seen by now, but who knows, maybe you haven't. Jurassic Park. It's crazy to think that people haven't seen Jurassic Park, but it did come out almost 30 years ago. If you're in high school now and your parents haven't been showing you good movies, it's certainly plausible that you haven't seen it. It's one of the high points of director Steven Spielberg's career. The man who brought us E.T., Jaws, Indiana Jones, Saving Private Ryan. Jurassic Park was a phenomenon and could arguably be said to be his greatest work. This movie was so impressive when it came out, no one had ever seen dinosaurs brought to life like that. In 1993, computer animation wasn't in every movie. It was really just getting started. To make these creatures come alive, they had to build full-scale animatronic puppets and sporadically use CGI. In the time before photorealistic CGI was so common, seeing lifelike dinosaurs on screen was a magical experience that left adults speechless and children inspired. But it's not just the technical achievements. The movie has a great cast, classic themes to its story, and the right kinds of character conflict to keep you interested in the story. And the musical theme is instantly iconic and perfectly captures the sense of wonder that the audience feels when watching it. The child actors are really good, which is so important because a bad child actor can tank your whole movie. Everyone's really good, actually. This is one of Jeff Goldblum's most memorable performances as well. It's a movie that truly represents the magical experience of going to the movies, something we may not be able to do for a while. And even when we can, what are we gonna watch? The Nun 2? The last film on this list is one of my favorite comedies, I Love You Man. It's not a straight-up comedy, it's sweet, it's about friendship. It's about two guys who don't have anyone to call a best friend, or even a regular friend, really. This is Paul Rudd's best movie. His character Peter Clavin is recently engaged, and he needs a best man for his wedding. His new friend Sidney is the only guy who makes sense to him, but he's really weird and inappropriate, and their friendship starts to cause a strain on Peter's relationship. I have a soft spot for movies that deal with true friends or family, and this one is really high up there for me. I think I've seen this movie 15 times. If you're having a bad day, put it on, it'll make you smile. That's it for this first Mayo Movie Club. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll do it again next month.